see. Okay. If you guys are on, let me know if you can hear me. It has been quite a minute since I've been on here because of just horrific technical issues. And for those that don't know, YouTube has completely removed my Metro Examiner page. It's gone. It's out of there. And we knew that that would happen. Okay, good, good, good. We knew that that would happen. And so if you guys are not following us on Telegram, be sure to follow us at what you want to do is download the Telegram app and then find us on the Metro Examiner page, also on Odyssey. You want to go to Odyssey. So independent media, just FYI, independent media is a whole nother world. It is completely taken over. CNN's ratings have plummeted. MSNBC's ratings have plummeted. Fox ratings have plummeted. Nobody's listening to the lying mainstream media anymore. People are waking up and they're saying that they've just been lying. And not only have they been lying, that they don't even want to give you other sources of information. That's the problem. Give people information and let them decide what they want to believe. But no, that's not how it goes. So there's a whole world out there of independent media, and it's winning right now. You know, it's just they're just winning. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna get going. This is not really an official report. It's just more of a we got to deal with this because we're not dealing with it. All right, so let me just tell you guys briefly why things are so alarming. I saw a post today, and a gentleman was basically saying, you know, why are people getting divorced? What is going on? You know, and to my unsurprise, people were going on there like, you know, oh yeah, we don't have to stay married anymore. We don't have to do this. We don't have to do that. And it's not a surprise, you know, that every time a post like that comes around, people always talk ignorantly about things that they don't know. In the meantime, these are things that I study, and actually anybody, these things aren't censored, you know, these studies aren't censored, you know, anybody who just takes a little time to do some research will see that society as a whole is on a major moral decline. But I think that perhaps the African American community is unaware of the major issue that has been happening, specifically with youth suicide, particularly Black girls. Let me give y'all some data, and it is quite shocking. Okay, this is actually from Time. This is actually from Time magazine, and I want you guys to take a look at this article. I want you to take a look at this article. Okay. And so it talks about, you know, right before here, just saying that, you know, youth suicide is on the rise, you know, it's been on the rise, period. But in particular, Black girls. Now, if you take a look at this, what we have on the screen, you're looking at around, hang on, 1991 to 2017. If you see here, they're saying that suicide decreased among all children, but increased in the Black community. I'm going to give you guys some very startling statistics. I want you to look right here at that last sentence, okay? For girls, African American girls, between the ages of 13 and 19, suicide has increased 182%. Let me write that in here. 182% increase Black female suicide ages 13, 19, and this was for the years of 201, because this is just when the study was done. I'm sure right now it's a lot more. Right. 182% increase in Black female suicide ages 13 through 19 from the years 2001 to 2017. from the years 1991 to 2017, uh, there was a decrease in white children attempting suicide, but an increase in Black children committing suicide. I want you to look at these dates because I've talked about these dates before. 1991 to 2017 is the rate of Black youth suicide started to climb. All right, so the years 1991 to 2017, that is when youth suicide began in the Black community, began to go up. That year is significant. We've talked about this before. This was the early 90s, the late 80s began what we call the baby mama, baby daddy era. The baby mama, baby daddy era did not exist before the late 80s, early 90s. That generation came out of the broken home generation. So a lot of, like our parents, people that are in my generation, a lot of our parents were divorced, but they weren't by and large unwed parents. So that late 80s, early 90s, that began the baby mama, baby era generation, for which right now is the millennials that are in their mid, late 20s, 30s, early 30s. Okay. That brought rise to that generation. Now, we have a real problem here. I don't know if people are aware of these numbers. I'm going to show you a couple more things, guys. This is not going to be long at all. This is just like really, we have to wake up. We have to beyond wake up. Okay, so I need y'all to take a look at something else real quickly. And this little short broadcast is just giving you guys information so you can be aware that we're in a pandemic that's much more deadlier than a virus, because a virus eventually goes away. This right here is not going. This right here could actually take us out. Okay, this article right here, this was actually a study. Okay, and it confirms the same thing of the other article that we just read, that rates of suicide among Black children and teenagers, they actually said 73% since 1991. So you got two sources there saying, hey, around 1991 is when you started seeing. So again, that would be probably teens, my era, right? In 90, 91, I was 18, 19. So people out of my era, right, begin to do that. And then it has increased with, of course, now these will be like our children. Okay. Do y'all see these numbers? And 1991 is when it started and increased overall 73%. But as we saw in the other article, for Black young girls, 13 and 19, that particular subset, it is 182%. Okay. If you look at the second sentence here, it says suicide is the second leading cause of death for teenagers in the US, but over the period studied, suicide attempts decreased among teens in every ethnic group except for African Americans. Self-reported suicide attempts among white teenagers fell 7.5%. Hang on, let me go back over here and scroll down. But it rose for African American youth. This is a problem, you all. I'm about to give you something that's going to shock you all. It actually, it shouldn't shock you. It shouldn't shock you because we've talked about it before. I want you to look at this. At the top of the screen, it says Black teen girls often have stronger social networks to connect with than Black boys. The increase in self-reported suicide attempts among Black teen girls could suggest they've lost support systems. Now, I'm about to shock you all and not shock you all. For instance, our Black young girls are less likely now to be engaged in the Black church, when before they were really avid churchgoers and participated in organized religion. And it goes on, talks about bullying and some of those other things in social media, of course, right? Of course. But let me say this, and I said this to a lot of people. When it comes to the church and organized religions, it does not matter what you believe. Does not matter. The fact is that organized religion provides a social construct. And so we've talked about it before, where a lot of people may have come from broken homes, but you always could go to the church. And back in the day with the church, what did you have? You had the church mother, who was like your grandma or your auntie. You had the elders, the deacons. In other words, you call people brothers and sisters. The Black church provided almost like a second home and a second social construct. That does not exist anymore for a couple of reasons, because those people have died off by and large. This new church is not that type of church, right? And people don't need religion anymore, quote unquote. But I just think it's funny. Let me tell you what I think is funny. I think it's funny that the more we say we've evolved from something, the more that we're studying that when you take these things away, this is what happens. So basically, everything that I've read, especially with the girls, is that they don't feel accepted. Right now, their homes are broken, so they don't have any structure at home, right? There's no church to go to. Things are crazy at school. And then you get on the internet, and we don't have to tell you guys about the craziness on the internet, okay? But I think we got to take some time and talk about this here. And I've talked about it before, but nobody wants to deal with it because people are so anti-church. And it's not about being, about talking about your religion. The fact is, the Black church have been a cornerstone, and it has been a part of social life. That is now gone. Churches are concerned about money. They're concerned, by and large, money, their own image, their own social media, being popular. You know what I'm saying? They're no longer concerned about souls and things like that, right? It's just, by and large, that's not it. So these young girls, it says it right here, they don't have that construct anymore. And let me tell y'all something. I told somebody their kid was acting up. I told them, I said, you really need a church somewhere, right? Because church used to provide, again, that structure when you didn't have it at home, or it was just another reinforcement. And I think what we don't realize is that we're social creatures. When people say stuff like, I don't need nobody, I'm like, that's not a fact of human biology. It's not a fact. So that's that. And of course, there's a lot more, on here. We took a look at that. All right, so let's look at this really quickly. Now, you guys are going to be shocked about this because a lot of people are guilty of this. And this is the amount of time you're allowing your girls, particularly, to spend on social media. This study here, this was supposed to be the longest study that's ever been done on social media and young teen girls, okay? There's a 10-year study done. Basically, they're saying, let me scroll down here. Basically, in a nutshell, what this was saying is this is really a suicide risk and, depression and all that they did from 2009 to 2019, okay? And basically, this says, 13 is the age that they're supposed to start social media. But you got to realize most people let their kids on social media when they're 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9. Now, I want y'all to read this. A 13-year-old, read this right here, because remember, social media is a big part of it because they're having pressure from social media, right? Because remember, when you don't have no structure at home, right? Because your mama, daddy out there winning and grinding and, providing for you, because they think that that's the most important thing. So you don't really have your parents at home like that because they're out there working, right? And so they don't have that. You're locked down from school. You don't have no school structure. You have no church structure. So what do? You turn to the social media. So this right here, this 10-year study says 13 is not a bad age to begin social media. But they said, it should really be at a low level. This study is saying children at around, young teens should be on social media no more than 20 minutes a day. Let me write that. Young teens should be on social media So long. Y'all talk to me now. I'm not gonna be on here long, but y'all talk to me now. I'm not doing a monologue. No longer than 20 minutes a day. Young teens should not be on social media more than 20 minutes a day. Actually, I feel the same way for adults. I don't think we realize the major impact social media has had on our psyche and our outlook in life. We don't realize it. I don't think we have a clue. I don't think we have a clue for years. So not only are they saying the social media actually says that. Most social media says, hey, you got to be 12, 13 to be on here. And for me, that's still young, right? But if they are going to be on there, they're saying no more than 20 minutes a day. Most of these kids are on social media from the time they wake up, from the time they go to bed. And they say here, if you look a little bit up, they said at 13, girls are just starting to be ready to handle the dark underbelly of social media. 20 minutes a day, Dia, 20 minutes a day. Your girl should be on social media at young age, right? They says right here, a 13-year-old is probably not developmentally ready for 3 hours of social media a day. Most kids then looked at social media 3 hours before they go to school. It's become the babysitter. So now think about this. If there's no family structure, if there's no kids going out, remember the other thing these kids don't have is they don't go outside and play anymore. There's no neighborhood kids play. They don't do that. So there's nothing going on at home. Because remember, even when you had bad homes back in the day, you still had a neighbor or somebody you could go to and they could fix you somebody to play like that, right? You don't have that anymore. This is what y'all not realizing. Not only has the family broke down, there's no neighborhoods. There used to be families in the neighborhoods. Again, you could always go to somebody's house and get something to eat or, whatever. That's gone. School life, gone. Church life, gone. Boys and girls club, all these things. These kids don't do that stuff no more. By and large, the YMCA things, they don't do that stuff no more. They're on social media. See, I remember TV was my buddy when I was alone around social media skills. Absolutely. And it should. And TV was at least halfway clean back then. So this is bothersome. We should not be wondering. And there's no filters for kids on social media. There's no filters for kids. There's no filters about what you can see and what you can't see. There's no such thing. They see what you see. And let me tell you something. I have caught young girls that I know, and let me tell you something, parents. These girls, especially, they have 2 and 3 different profiles. There's a profile that you see, and there's a profile they have created. Yes, even your kids. There's a profile you see, and there's a profile they created. On the profile they created that is hidden from you, I've seen some of the sweetest little girls, half dressed, all kind of grown men and women in their inboxes, all kinds of deviants, right on social media. Okay, so social media is a big reason why these girls, because remember, they got to belong somewhere. They don't belong anywhere. Okay. All right, so that's that. Oh goodness, where's my other stuff? I had my little articles all laid out here. Goodness, wow, all my little articles are going. Hang on one sec, guys. Y'all know this it happens every time, don't it? It happens every. This is why I stopped doing the lives, because I swear it happens every time. I have my stuff ready, and then where did the stuff go? Because I had a few things I wanted to talk to y'all about. We weren't going to go into it in depth in a lot of stuff today. Just wanted to really just talk about the real. Hang on one second, because there's a very important article. If I can't find it, we'll just talk about it, and then we'll get on out of here. Okay. Let's see here. All right. You know what? Hang on, guys, because I'm not about to see this. I don't get on here anymore. This is exactly why I don't get on here anymore, because, like I said, I had everything lined up, and now they're just gone because it was something very important I needed to show you guys. Very, very important. So give me one more second to pull this up because it was important. Um, let's see here. Let's see. Every time. Every time. Okay, hang on. All right. That's not what I wanted. I think it was something like 36. The article said something like, or the study, 35 or 36 shocking statistics about something. Um, let's see. Oh, maybe this is it here. Let's see here. Nope, I found it. Hang on, guys. I found it. I found it. Give me 1 second. Again, I apologize. It happens every time. That's why y'all don't see me too much anymore. Because it's literally something always going wrong. Okay. Okay. All right. I thought I found it. And nope. And this is a really important article too. This is a really important article study that I wanted to share with you all. I cannot find it. And I don't want to waste any more time looking for it. This is why y'all don't see me no more. It doesn't matter when I come on, there's always some major issues. And I'm not a disorganized person. And I certainly don't have this kind of time as well. But let's see. Hang on, maybe this is it. All right. All right. I'm really frustrated, Shay. This is why y'all don't see me. This is beyond, I don't have time to waste, and y'all don't either. And so this is really frustrating for me. Every time I go, this is why I'm not going live anymore. I just don't do it because there's just always some major issues, and that certainly don't reflect the way I handle anything. And okay. All right. We're going to take a look at this. These are really shocking statistics. Okay. And I go over some of this in my book. Let me make this bigger. But we cannot not talk about what's going on with the, broken homes, fathers not in the homes, and things like that. And I think people don't realize the impact. So when people say stuff like, even men, I don't need a woman, I don't need this, I don't need that. We know better than God, right? We know better than God how to do this life thing, and it's not working out in our favor. So I want y'all to look at this. Statistics about fatherless homes. 85% of youth who are currently in prison. Y'all hear this? 85% of youth who are currently in prison grew up in fatherless homes. 85%. 7 out of 10 youth that are housed in state-operated correctional facilities grew up in fatherless homes. I'm not going to go over all of these, of course. I'm going to show you some that are seriously shocking. Hang on 1 sec. Of course, we know about the poverty statistic. Children in fatherless homes are twice as likely to drop out of school. Twice. Now I want y'all to look at this because this has become a problem, and it kind of makes sense. And this is not to be mean, but has anybody noticed how heavy these young kids are? Anybody notice how heavy these young kids are? These young kids are heavy, right? And not just the lack of physical exercise, but these young kids are heavy. So I want y'all to look at this statistic right here. Number 6, girls who live in a fatherless home have a 100% higher risk of suffering from obesity than girls who have their fathers present. I'm going to repeat. Girls who live in a fatherless home have a 100% higher risk of suffering from obesity than girls who have their father present. Teen girls in fatherless homes are 4 times more likely to become mothers before the age of 20. Y'all hear that? 44% of children in homes headed by single mothers live in poverty. I believe that number is higher for African Americans. Children who live in single parent homes are twice as likely to commit suicide. We got to stop with the games, y'all. We got to stop with the game. When I say the games, like I said, this is why I don't spend a lot of time on social media. Y'all may see me posting, but I don't scroll. I can't scroll because when people talk out of foolishness and we dealing with this major pandemic of youth and family, I don't have no tolerance for that because you don't know the facts. Okay. 72% of Americans believe the fatherless home is the most significant problem. That is absolutely correct. Only 68% of children will spend their entire childhood with an intact family. And that number gotta be less than that. Y'all about to be, now we got to, here's some very serious stuff, y'all. Number 12, 75% of rapists. Let me repeat what I just said. Number 12, 75% of rapists are motivated by displaced anger that is associated with feelings of abandonment that involves their father. That is from the U.S. Department of Justice. 75% of rapists. Living in a fatherless home is a contributing factor to substance abuse. 75% of adolescent patients being treated for substance abuse are from a fatherless home. 75%. 85%. Yep, Miss Patricia, nobody wants to listen. See, this is when y'all see these people, men and women, that say what they don't need and what they're not going to do. I want you to bring them to this video and let me give you some reality. Let me give you some reality. Okay? Number 14, 85% of all children which exhibit some type of behavior disorder come from a fatherless home. Once again, Department of Justice. 85% of all children which exhibit behavioral disorders come from fatherless homes. 85%. Do y'all see number 15? Number 15. 90% of the youth in the United States that decide to run away from home or become homeless originally came from a fatherless home. 90% of the runaways. 90% of the runaways. Again, the U.S. Department of Justice. 63% of youth suicides involve a child who was living in a fatherless home when they made their final decision. And we had another statistic to back that up. Children who live in a single parent home or step family home. And let me say this too. People think that divorcing children who had a parents at one time are better off than single parents. That is incorrect. They're actually worse off. And I didn't know that until I started looking at the studies. Because I guess it's a big difference between, okay, I was born into the single family thing, that's all I know, versus I had a full family, now I don't have a family, now I'm with this step family. And people think, okay, well, it's a man in the home or it's a woman in the home. Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily, right? Because you still got to remember the kids got to belong. If you're with people and they got their kids and stuff like that, you might not feel like you belong in that step family unit. This is serious stuff. I didn't think so either, Shay, but it's the data. The data is there. Number 18, even when poverty levels are equal, children who come from a two-parent home outperform children who come from a one-parent home. Yeah, these hard numbers. These are hard numbers, y'all. These hard numbers. And this is actually, this is no secret information. You can talk to any social worker, any teacher, any administrator, anybody who works with the public, anybody who works in the justice system. This is very common information. This is not unusual or hidden information. This is very common information. Who doesn't know it is this young generation that think they're doing something, right? Think they're doing something. I'm gonna read a couple more of these. These are just really shocking, y'all. These are shocking. Hang on, let's see. This is talking about the divorce rate and all that. We're gonna skip over that right at this second. Hang on. All right, let's get into some money stuff. Okay, let's see. Let's look at number 25. Let's look at number 25. Number 25 says the median income for a household with a single mother is $35,400. That's about correct. The median income for a home with a married couple raising their children is $85,000 in the United States. 2/3 of low-income working families are in the African American community. Over 30% of fatherless homes are classified as food insecure, yet only 13 homes will utilize the services of a food pantry. Over 30% of fatherless homes also spend more than half of their income on housing costs, which classifies the household as experiencing a severe housing burden. Mississippi has the highest number of fatherless homes. Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought Mississippi? But they in so much poverty. Oh my God. Now y'all ready for this? Are y'all ready for these numbers right here? I want y'all to take a look at number 28. Take a look at number 28. Children who live in a fatherless homes are 279% more likely to deal drugs or carry firearms for offensive purposes compared to children who live with their fathers. I'm going to copy that. 279%. 279% of children who live in the fatherless homes are 279% more likely to deal drugs or carry firearms for offensive purposes compared to children. 279%. I'm going to repeat that one more time. 279%. 92% of parents currently in prison are fathers. 92%. Now, single dads, number 31. Single dad's household income is $50,000 or more. 44% of single dads were divorced. Only 33 had never married. 43% of fathers do not see their role as something that is important to their personal identity. So incorrect. 54% of fathers in the U.S. say that parenting isn't enjoyable all of the time. Even in homes with fathers, now they're talking about fathers, even in homes with fathers, number 33, the modern dad spends only 8 hours per week on childcare, which is 6 hours less than the modern mom. On the other hand, 43% of the modern dad's time is spent with paid work compared to 25% of the modern mom. Guys, there's so many more of these. There's so much of this information that's out there. Again, it's not secret. It's not hidden. It's not anything. The bottom line, we are in a pandemic of Black youth and Black family. We are in an absolute pandemic. Here's my problem. My problem is that for some reason, we think because we make more money now, right? And we're more educated, that we're winning. You see it all the time. People will talk about the people of old days and they'll be like, well, they stayed married because they had to. They did this. It's so ignorant. It's so ignorant. You think God made your purpose here on earth to go work for somebody's job? You think that's your purpose here on earth? We are to populate the earth. That's our job. And then for those women and men who aren't able to bear children, I'm gonna say this and we're gonna get on off of here because I wasn't planning on being here real long. And y'all please say something. Say something in the comments, and please, I want to hear your comments, your thoughts, and then we get on out of here. I gotta find this video, but I was, people often say it takes a village, but I actually end up watching a little short documentary on what that actually meant. Now, let me be very clear, because Africa is a huge continent and it's made up not only of different countries, different villages, different tribes, different genealogies. It's all type of stuff in Africa, different time periods. So let me clarify this by saying I am not sure what tribe this came from or the era in which it came from, but it talked about what the village mentality really was, and I thought it was one of the most beautiful things I had ever heard. They were saying in this particular African area that there is no such thing as cousins, that any children that are born among family are considered sisters and brothers, and that they're literally equally raised by the women and men of the village. They're equally raised. And to the women who are barren, again, they are a part of raising the children. So no woman or man or whatever will ever feel like they are, because some people, that's a real issue, that they can't have children naturally or whatever. And so the real village concept really meant that everybody was a part of the parenting process. I thought it was one of the most beautiful things I'd ever heard in my life, because I know we know the concept, but then to hear it broken down like that, where no, there's no sisters and brothers, there's no cousins, I'm sorry, there's only sisters and brothers, and everybody in the village literally raises and is responsible for the kid. So I want y'all to think about this for a minute. Think about this for a minute. Please, I want to hear your comments and what y'all got to say, because we're getting on out of here. Like I said, I wasn't going to be on here long today. But one of my things that we talked about this before, I want y'all to think about this for a minute. You got these young girls and guys having kids, right? They're not in a situation like maybe even we were, right? Where they got grandparents in place that ain't at the club, right? You get grandparents that actually want to be grandparents to spend time with their grandkids, stuff like that. They had grandparents, you had aunts, you had uncles, cousins. If you didn't have that, you had neighborhood, right? You had people in the neighborhood. Back in the day, we didn't need no daycare like that. Who needed daycare? There was no such thing as no daycares like that. It was, hey, if you had a neighbor who was an older lady, or, somebody who was a stay-at-home mom, they would be the house that the kids could go to after school, or before school or whatever like that. You had a place for them to go, and you just, when the parent get home, they pick them up and bring them and throw them $10, $5, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But we didn't have no daycares. The daycares was the people in the neighborhood. It was people in the neighborhood. You don't have that anymore. That doesn't exist anymore. You don't have the organized religion. Like, and again, it's not about your belief. The fact is, and we just read it in that study, that was a part of the social construct. That is gone, right? Where if you didn't have the family, didn't have the neighborhood, you can go to the church and you got the, they call them mother this and so. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff, that is gone. And it's so funny when I hear people talk about religion. And again, it don't matter what you believe. Like, it was just like, they don't understand that was a major part of the social fabric. And now that that's gone, even that study says it's lacking, and it's hurting, especially young girls' mental status, right? So you don't have any of this stuff. Put that on top of social media, all the music, and all the different TV, and all the different depravity of morals in the country. What is this generation supposed to do? What are they supposed to do, y'all? Yeah, like you said, Anthony, our neighbors watch this. We didn't have no daycare. So just think about these young kids. They got to spend hundreds of dollars a week just to go to work. Hundreds of just to go to work. Why? Because they don't have family to watch them. They don't have a spouse, and there's no village. So they got to pay somebody who probably ain't raising. I really want to say raising, because your kids be in daycare more than they be with you. Let's see. Shay says the village environment is real. I raised my daughter as a single mother in the same name as her, and it's in the same name as her father, and my family grew up in. My family in the same street. Same. Yes, that was the neighborhoods. I think y'all. I think we don't understand that not only deterioration of the family, deterioration of neighborhoods, deterioration of religion, deterioration of all these. Think about it, even back in the day, the kids don't go outside to play anymore. Kids don't have friends no more. They don't have, these kids don't have no friends for real. They ain't even met. Listen, it used to be, I tell these millennials, I said, listen, not only did our parents have to meet who we were dating, and we couldn't date till we was like 16, 17, maybe. They had to meet your friends, mom and daddy. Who them? Who they mama? Who they daddy? And your friends, mama and daddy, talked on the phone. If somebody called you on the house phone, your parent picked up, who you? What's your name? Where your mama? Let me speak to your mama. In other words, you can't just talk to anybody as a friend. Now, parents don't know who their kids is talking to. Parents don't know who their kids are communicating with on social media. Also, since the high cost of rent will be hard again. Yeah. But see, what we don't realize, Anthony, is the breakdown of the family, the breakdown of the neighborhood, the breakdown of the church, the breakdown of the social order. We can't wonder why people are depressed. We can't wonder why the suicide rate is up. It correlates with what I've been saying. They said since about 1991, which was the year that I would have been 18, 19, right, Shay? We've been 18, we've been teenagers, right? And there's another study, y'all, on promiscuity, right? Because what's the popular thing now? Oh, I'm getting bodies. There's studies done, especially with women and men too. Men think y'all escape this. Y'all don't escape this. I read it. The more sexual partners you have, the more increase you have for mental issues, the more increase you have for substance abuse. See, all these things, y'all, that they saying is winning is actually losing. And have y'all noticed that everything that's winning is moral depravity? Why moral depravity got to be winning? Why is winning sleeping with as many people as you can? Why is that winning? Why is winning not getting married and settled down? Why is that winning? Why is winning not being religion? Oh, talk about it, Shay. The Vacation Bible School. Talk about it, Shay. Yes. Vacation Bible School, the picnics, the skating park. That's gone. These kids, listen, I'm going to tell y'all what else is gone. I posted earlier today. I was listening to New Edition. If y'all think about it, there's no kid groups anymore. We grew up with kid groups. I'm talking about adults as well. Go back to, Frankie Lyman, teenagers, all that. Those groups in the 50s, 60s, they were teenagers. People don't, they look mature, but the Supremes, when they were teenagers, right? And in our day, the Jackson 5, New Edition, these were kids, and everybody listened to their music. Even as recent as back in, if you about 30 millennials, what's them boy, B2K and Monica, Brandy, they were 15, 13, 14, 15 when they came out. That don't exist anymore. So there's nothing for these kids to listen to. There's no talent. Remember back in the day, there was all this talent. All we got is all these singing shows. But remember, even on TV, it used to be Star Search. It used to be shows where show kids talent. Who shows kids talent anymore? There's no kid talent stuff anymore. Kids are not in the arts anymore. You don't see kids singing on the street corner and rapping and beatboxing and dancing on the street corners and doing routines on the street corners. Listen, even back in the day, the fat kids could run track. The fat kids could run a relay race. When do you see kids in the street doing relay races and hula hoop and hopscotch and no physical activity anymore? They're on the phone. This their babysitter, their judge, their jury, and ultimately their demise. Because you don't know what is on this thing. You don't know who they're communicating with. And like they said, your kid, for those of you that missed it, they said a 13-year-old, basically you should not be on social media under 13, but a 13-year-old should not be on social media no more than 20 minutes a day. 20 minutes a day. And these kids are parked on social media while the parents grinding and getting money. I don't even want to go into money because if you look at that, I'm not a money person, but just the stuff that you read, they said that African American people in general are on set to be worth net zero by 2053. Why? Not because we're not making no money. You can talk to anybody who works at a bank or financial institution. They would tell you black folks is not broke. We are not broke. We make good money, but we're in debt, right? We're in debt, and then we don't build things like real estate and things that build wealth. We spend. We're consumers, right? And so if every generation got to start over with debt and my mother did not pay off her student loans till she was in her mid 50s. My mother did not pay off her student loans until she was in her mid 50s. Mid 50s. Oh, Shay, I don't know what we're going to do about our grandkids. I had to have a talk with my grandson the other day, a very hard talk, because this world is so dark that they live in now, and they're introducing this stuff to them in school. I'd have a real hard conversation to him about basic biology. And I don't care what they tell you. A boy is a boy and a girl is a girl. And we scared to say that. That is a basic fact of biology. And if boys and girls are to stop getting together, the earth would stop to populate. This has nothing to do with anybody and whatever, but I had, because they saying men can get pregnant now. This is where we at in society. Could this have gone on 20 years ago? Absolutely not. Because we are in such a sunken state. And so I don't want to get into nothing deep and spiritual because y'all know, but I think that we are too laxed. I think all of us are way too lax, and we think that because, and somebody said, my friend said it the other day, and he was so right. You could be raising, like your daughter Shay could be raising your grandson in the best of environment, but guess what? When he go out the house and deal with little Timmy next door and deal with little Agnes at school, which is going to end up being their main resource, and then they're looking on the internet, it don't matter what you teach them, right? It don't matter what you teach them, y'all. We are like, just because our house is good. No, who your kids go play with? Who your kids talking to on social media? That's their peer pressure. For me, I gotta be honest with you. Peer pressure is at some point in kids' lives greater than adult pressure. And now again, there's nothing. You can't go to the cartoons. They're deprived. They're deprived. They're, you know what I'm saying? There's nowhere you can go where there's innocence anymore. There's no innocence anymore. These kids are sexualized and thrown sexual stuff in their face at a very young age. I'm a shock y'all, and I'm gonna bring this information out soon. There's actually a lot of information out there, but the guy who brought sex education into America, which actually I thought was always oh yeah, we're not changing it in my house. See, that's what you got to teach your kids. See, you can't allow that to go on in your house. Now, baby, I'm going to call you what you want. But as for me in my house, I'm a girl. And guess what? If you die and they dig up your bones, all them little titles don't exist. Because your bones, they can tell who you are. So all this stuff is just foolishness. And if y'all go along with it, this is the legacy you're leaving your kids. This is not a joke, y'all. And we don't have time. Shay, everybody, Dina, Anthony, we don't have time. Ron, there's no time to say, I'm going to talk to them in a year or two. First of all, you don't know if you're going to be here in a year or two. You don't know. We got like we just got all the time where, I just talk to my kid when they get about 12, 13. Well, what if you ain't here? What if things have gotten so bad that, now they didn't indoctrinated your kid? Have y'all looked at y'all kids' homework? Look at your kids' homework. Your mouth going to fly open. Your mouth. I looked at Jaden homework one day. My mouth flew open with the kind of stuff that they're teaching these kids in plain sight. Have the talk now. Now. Before it's too late. Have the talk right now. I'm going to play this one thing. I've played this before. I'm going to play this very quickly. I'm going to play this very quickly. But for those of you who don't work, there's a gentleman, and he is probably one of the people in the independent media and the research thing that he opened up people's in that era understanding of what was going on in the country, right? He defected from Russia. He was a KGB person or whatever. And he started teaching about psychological warfare. Well, psychological warfare ain't what you think. Oh, yeah, Shay. Y'all want to know what psychological warfare is? Listen to the gentleman right here. This is very important y'all hear this, especially those who have never heard it before. It's very important y'all hear what he says. His name is Yuri Bezmenov. This was back in the 80s. And he was talking to people about ideological subversion and how the enemies crush their opponent. Y'all about to be shocked because it ain't what you think.
Mr. Bezmenov was born in 1939 in a suburb of Moscow. He was the son of a high-ranking Soviet Army officer. He was educated in the elite schools inside the Soviet Union and became an expert in Indian culture and Indian languages. He had an outstanding career with Novosti, which was and still is, I should say, the press arm or the press agency of the Soviet Union. It turns out that this is also a front for the KGB. He escaped to the West in 1970 after becoming totally disgusted with the Soviet system, and he did this at great risk to his life. He certainly is one of the world's outstanding experts on the subject of Soviet propaganda and disinformation and active measures. Well, you spoke several times before about ideological subversion. That is a phrase that I'm afraid some Americans don't fully understand. When the Soviets use the phrase ideological subversion, what do they mean by it?
Ideological subversion is the slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism.
Now, I'm going to stop it right there. You thought you knew what psychological warfare meant. You have no idea, right? Psychological warfare is in 4 steps. The first step of your enemy taking over the country, and we're not saying it's Russia, China, whoever, right? It's not, he's just letting you know what psychological warfare is. The first step in psychological warfare is demoralization. You change perception of reality. You tell somebody a man can have a baby. You tell a boy he can be a girl. To the point that they can't even ascertain basic information. He said it takes 15 to 20 years to demoralize one generation of students, and basically doing the students' parents, grandparents, or whatever. This was in 1984. And in 1984, he said the U.S. is so far surpassed everything that's going on that we already demoralized, right? That was 30-some years ago, 40 years ago. At this point, almost 40 years ago. But the first step in psychological warfare is demoralization. Let me let y'all hear this and then we getting out of here. He also talked about religion, right? And it's a reason why everything you read, when you get into this kind of work and this kind of studies, everything you read, it talks about destroying religion. And see, people make it about what they believe. It's not about that. Again, it give you a social construct. It give you a value system, right? Listen to what he says about religion. This is only about a minute.
Which are going to opposite direction from the basic moral values and principles. To take advantage of these movements, to capitalize on them is the main purpose of the originator of subversion. So we have religion, we have education, we have social life, we have power structure, we have labor relations, unions, and finally we have law and order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? These are the areas of application of subversion. What it means exactly? In case of religion, destroy it, ridicule it, replace it with various sects, cults, which bring people's attention, faith, whether it is naive, primitive, doesn't really matter. As long as the basically accepted religious dogma is being slowly eroded and taken away from the supreme purpose of religion, to keep people in touch with the supreme being, that serves the purpose. Therefore, replace it, accepted, respected religious organizations with fake organizations. Distract people's attention from the real faith and attract them to various different faiths.
Oh, so you didn't think the religious part was part of psychological warfare, did you? Let's see. Shay said something deep on here. Let's see. Shay, it's deep. I'm realizing now we have been. Shay, I'm like, God, why didn't I know this 20 years ago? You are, Shay, you are absolutely correct. And until you really start, and it's actually, the information is not hidden. None of this information is hidden. Until you open your eyes, you realize, wow, we have been duped from day one. To the point where, as we speak right now, this is about demoralization, right? To the point where I was talking to somebody today and they did not realize, and what I'm about to say has nothing to do with the abortion rights or anything like that, right? But they didn't realize. I said, you do know abortion is not legal in most of the world. You can't go to Jamaica and get an abortion. That's not something you do. But they have, in America, they convinced you that a fetus is not a baby. They convinced you that's a demoralization. It doesn't matter how you package it. That is demoralization. To the point, let me show you how demoralized it is now. In California, let me show you what they're doing in California right now. Hang on one second. Because when you open the door, hang on one second. Hang on. What's going on in California right now? All right, hang on. Let me bring this up for you guys. Share screen. Okay. What's going on in California right now? And there's a lot of debate over this, right? Basically, there is a bill, and it's very controversial because it's very vaguely worded. But basically, it protects mothers who give birth to infants that die. I think they said up until 30 days, 20 to 30 days. In other words, people are calling this infanticide. So in other words, if a mother comes into the hospital and she presents a dead baby, she will not be asked any questions. She will not be prosecuted. She will not be anything. She will be protected. And so basically there's a big thing. And of course the fact checkers like, well, no, this is not true. And they were like, well, if it's not true, make the language plain, because the way this language is, you're protecting the baby after gestation, after it's, you're protecting the mother after it's born, because now that's murder, right? But see, because you opened the door and you said it was a fetus and not a baby. See what happens when you open the door, the devil take it all away, right? When you say anybody can love anybody, that also includes children. Y'all do know that, right? I was trying to tell y'all, the guy that instituted sex education in America, his studies were based on infants being able to have orgasms. When sex education was introduced into America, and also when porn was introduced, they kind of went hand in hand. They said rape and all these, even incest, it skyrocketed in America. What I'm saying, y'all, is these things that Shay, that's actually pretty pretty well documented. Dr. Albert Kinsey. And there's a lady that's been fighting. He's dead now, but there's a lady that's been fighting him forever. She's older now, but she's been to the Senate and everything. She's a doctor. Yeah, the guy that created sex education in America, about the birds and the bees and all that stuff, was also kind of responsible for what's the man name? Hugh Hefner and the Playboy movement, right? They're saying that in the 50s, when the sex education and these books and the Playboy, when that went out to America, rapes, incest, things like that skyrocketed. There's so much stuff, y'all, but we're so, like you said, Shay, it's all one big. And until you slow down, there you go, Shay. Until you slow down, because we can't slow down. We're busy. But when you slow down and you really look at what's going on, you like, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's heavy, y'all. So I really wanted to do this. I'm about to get off of here. I really wanted to do this so that the four of us on here right now, and we know it's more than four. You know, they don't show me who's on here. But so that we can talk to our children, our grandchildren, talk to whoever we can, that we don't have time. You have to talk to your children now. You have to let them know what's going on now. You need to see who they're talking to on their phones. Like we got a parent again. We got a village again. Listen, we have to village again. Those of you that were not blessed to have children, you should be one of the main ones helping a single mom. Or y'all see what I'm saying? Those that didn't have children, whatever. We get so in our own little lives that we don't help nobody. If everybody helped one person, if somebody say, hey, single mom, your mama crazy, she in the club, your grandmama in the, you know what I'm saying? Because you got to realize these kids don't have parents no more. They have their parents in the club, parents hanging out, their parents on social media like they are. So whether it's you can mentor a youth or whatever, if we don't do nothing to help the youth, what good are we? If we don't do nothing for this next generation who gonna need a whole lot of God and a whole lot of morals and values because their ears not anymore, what good have we served in the world? So I really just did this video to let people know the real, that we are in bad shape in every area. Just because we're making more money doesn't mean we're holding on to it. We're not. We're in debt heavily, right? So that means we leave the next generation in debt and they start all over. Oh, here's the other thing. Let me show y'all one more thing that's really disturbing. And I don't mean to be the bearer of gloom, but I can't sit up here and act like everything is okay. Hang on. Hang on. This is really important. I hope I can okay, yep, here it is. Here it is. Y'all are going to be absolutely shocked with this. And this is from the United Nations, which is part of the One World Order. But anyway, we still want to share it. Because if they do have, I'll put it like this. The United Nations do have good information. That don't mean they don't have disinformation. They don't have the agenda, but they do have some good information. So let me share this with y'all. Okay, I want to view this tab. I want to share, right? I'm sharing this tab. Hold on, y'all. Go back to here. Oh, I need to put it on the screen. No, it's me. I'm doing it wrong. Picture in picture. Okay, there we go. All right, so this is from the United Nations. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, students who went through the pandemic are set to face I made a mistake. I've been saying it's $7 trillion. They are set to make $17 trillion loss of lifetime earnings. $17 trillion. So if things were not already bad, and let me tell y'all something, and I'm not about to get into this whole lockdown thing, right? When they locked them schools down, I said, oh, this is the real agenda right here. The cognitive development of students will never be the same. Y'all got to understand that time that they lost can never be talk to any teacher, principal right now. It's a madhouse. This is from the United Nations. Students are set to make $17 trillion less over their lifetime. 17 trillion. So what does this mean? Oh, go ahead. We got an AI to do that. We got a robot to do that. So when people say we winning, where? Where are we winning? We don't have no God no more. We don't have no religion no more. You have people online talking about should Lizzo cover her butt up. Do you think I would ever lower myself to have that kind of conversation with anybody? But then yesterday I saw a young girl at her prom with her butt out. This is what happens when you open the door to that foolishness. And if you're okay with Lizzo with her butt out, you should be okay with the young boys with their butt out. And it's older people promoting this stuff to the younger people. So we to the point where we defending foolishness and we saying we free. I told somebody today, yeah, Vanessa, we got too much freedom. I said, no, we don't. We're bound to sin. We're a slave of sin. We're not free. There's nothing free about America right now. But also America, y'all, is Mystery Babylon. And y'all know I'm a student of history. I love history. I'm not perfect in it. There's because the historians, I'm not a historian by any stretch of imagination. I just read, that's it, right? But I'm reading some stuff that actually says there's two Americas was created. And I believe this. There was two Americas created. They said America, the free society with the Christian thing. And they said America was also created for the sinners that couldn't do what they wanted to do over in Europe. I believe that. I absolutely believe that. They say it's two Americas from the foundation of America, quote unquote. I absolutely believe that. And it's so much, I'm even hearing about some stuff with the Statue of Liberty. It's so much. It's so much. So anyway, y'all, again, I didn't come out here to scare anybody or to have doom and gloom, but facts is facts. Numbers is numbers. Facts is facts and numbers is numbers. When people say we winning, ask them where. With suicide for young girls, 182% up, as well as young boys, not as much, but with that much up. Like Shay said, in prison, you dying, y'all not healthy, you're overweight, the kids are overweight, families are broken up, no structure, order, no values, no morals, no principles, disrespect is common. They're set to make less money, so they're not even winning in the money thing. Where are we winning? Until we wake up, I don't know what's going to be for our children in the future. I don't. And if we don't leave them with something, it's our fault. Now that we know all this, now that we know it, what are we going to do about teaching our children? If we say nothing, we are nothing. If we do nothing, we are nothing. We owe it to the next generation to tell them the truth about what is going on, what is happening, and to let them know. Unfortunately, it comes down to good and evil, y'all. It do. It don't matter what you believe. It comes down to good and evil. It comes down to, it go back to Genesis. It said the seed of the woman will crush the seed of Satan. There's some people on the earth that ain't of God. That's just about. I'm not going to get into all that deep stuff, but it's just not. You're right, Ron. This is it. This is it. If we don't save these children, we're done for. It's a wrap. These kids are not having babies no more. They're not getting together anymore. They're on drugs. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. And social media is raising them. If we don't do nothing, we're done. Kiss your family lineage goodbye. We're out of here. So unfortunately, at the age of 10, I got to start teaching my grandson. Y'all gonna have to do the same. If you just around your grandkids, snoop. No. I'm sorry, that time is up, y'all, because he's not getting that or she's not getting that at school. They're getting a whole nother education and they're gonna be clueless because nobody at their house told them anything. We can't be like our parents and be secretive. We have to tell these kids what's going on right now. I don't care how old or young they are. We got to say it on a level they can understand, but we can't afford not to. So, all right, y'all, I am out of here now. I didn't want to keep this video no more than an hour. So, share it and join me over at the Metro Examiner. Again, I don't have a YouTube anymore. I don't know if you guys don't know that. I don't have a YouTube anymore. They took my YouTube down. And you know what? It's a blessing. Let me tell you why. Let me show y'all something. It's a blessing. See, we need to speak. Shay says we need to speak deeper to our children. Deep one. Yeah, show her this video. Shay, show her this video. Send her my videos. I don't do these videos just for us to sit down and talk. I read it. And listen, y'all, I'm not authority on anything. Please understand. You don't know anything I do is read. When people watching other stuff, I'm reading. Okay, that's it. I ain't smarter than nobody. All I do is read. Let me show y'all something real quick. So this was my backup page on Odyssey. Odyssey is a channel. It's like a type of a platform, right? And so I did an Odyssey because we knew that I would be censored from YouTube eventually, right? And so I posted this video, and I'm not going to play it here because they might ban me from Facebook. I played this video here, which was directly off of the White House website. It was the Homeland Security Director basically saying, hey, we know that something is killing Blacks and Latinos. I didn't edit it. I didn't spice it up. I did it raw. They immediately took me down, the whole channel, right? And so I posted it on Odyssey. Now, I got 41 followers now, but I had 20-something followers. As y'all can see, this video has gotten 46,000 views on Odyssey. Let me blow it up. I ain't gonna play it because I don't want to get in trouble. This video has gotten 46. I've never got that many views on YouTube. 46,000 views on a channel where I have less than 40 subscribers. So it was honestly a blessing because I think this just is a better space for me where I don't have to worry about being censored and stuff like that. Okay. But I'm completely banned from YouTube. And then the good news is I found out that Dr. Michael Yeadon, which is a major player on the stage right now, he shared my video that somebody else had posted on their page. Obviously, they downloaded. He shared it on his page. I knew it was my video because it still had my water. That's why I put the watermarks on it. It still had my watermarks. I said, is that my video on Dr. Michael Yeadon? It made my day. It made my day. So, all right. Oh, thank you, Shay. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. But yeah, we have to talk deeper to our children, grandchildren, friends, whoever will listen. If they won't listen, leave them alone. People are waking up slowly, but I hope we don't wake up too late because it's beyond time. But you're right, Shay. Shay said something, and that's almost a book, Shay. And Shay, you probably need to get back to writing too, but I'm gonna leave that alone. But what did Shay say? What did you say? Because that kind of sums up what we need to be. Oh, right here. I'm realizing now we've been manipulated in a huge social experiment. It's a fact, y'all. It's a fact. I think that we just don't understand how the world works. And the more you read, you like, oh, it is. I understand. I'm gonna do another video. I understand survival of the fittest now. I think we understand it in theory, but I really understand it now, and it makes sense to me. And I actually understand why the people do what they do if you put it in context. We're actually playing a game of survival of the fittest. Just like the animals do in the jungle. So, all right, y'all. I'm out. We will talk to y'all soon. Peace.